I got to talk for a second. Um, y'all know I read Cedar Post. It gives you an idea of just the institution and resentment and how every time the left does do something or society changes a little bit better, you have police, you have people inside the institution that hate any kind of change. And I've never really talked about why that is. Let's get into it. Not sure if y'all remember when the RNC came to Charlotte. I think it was in 16. And the officers on Cedar Post that were like, "Oh, we're gonna wear Class A's and all this stuff," and I couldn't understand what the big deal was. I couldn't understand why, if you're having a Republican National Convention in your city, why wouldn't you want to dress nice? Why wouldn't you want to be professional? These officers have a mindset that their job is about political and social repression of minorities. And that's gay people, that's leftists, that's your Muslims, your Arabs. I understand it's a race and a religion, but I mean, that's their job, is to repress. And they, at the very least, at the very most, will tolerate you others. At the very worst, will kill you. You know what I mean? There's a lady in Charlotte, I think she's like a news anchor, and they were like, she had worked for the news thing, it's an Arab news thing, and they were like, "Oh, don't forget about that." I'm like, shit, that means she was in the big time. That don't mean nothing bad. It was a Saudi Arabian news network. But for them, they are the enemy. Arabs are the enemy. So for them, their job is about repression. And so even if their job is just like, hey, let's come up with body cameras, or let's come up with reaching out to the community, cops and barbers, or let's, things like that where the community gets to know the cops, that is still bad to them. It's not big bad, but it's still like 3% bad, because they always feel like the world is changing against them. And it may only be 1%. It's like me losing $1. It's like me losing a quarter or something. It's not a lot of money. What if I lose a quarter every day? What if I lose a quarter every 10 minutes? See what I'm talking about? That's how those cops look at it. That they're losing because these are race warriors. These are race soldiers. And they're fighting for a perceived idea of culture. You see, why I call these people reactionary bigots, because they're reacting to a perceived shift in social mores. So that's why you go on forums and the cop will say, "Well, the Democrats want to legalize all crime. They want to legalize murder." And I'm like, wait a minute. I come on, I say, tell me what Democrat has pushed defund the police. Oh, you got a point. No. I don't have a point. You're a liar. I checked you. You have no response. It isn't. I'm not an intellectual. I asked a legitimate question. You live in your little cloistered areas, in your little echo chambers, and you never had a person sit down and actually put it to you what you're talking about. I looked at something last night. This guy was talking about how the Civil War was about more than slavery. And the dude asked him, "So what else was it?" You know what I'm saying? You've never had nobody challenge you intellectually. You've never had nobody put it to you. Wait a minute. Yeah, that might be on Fox News, but anyway. I just realized, like I said, with law enforcement, with white supremacy, with the Republican Party, that's why there's always a hesitation. There's a resentment, because they're losing, and they see it to where they're losing all around them in every way. And so, because for me, like I said, going back to it, if I was a police officer and they had, RNC or whatever, I would want to be. That's the day I would want to shine up my stuff, and I would want to have on it. That's what I would do, because I would be like, yo, I'm representing my city, I'm representing my county, I'm representing my people, and this is going to be international. I may be on television. Right? I'd be up there smiling and shit. Yeah, I'd be up there smiling. I'd have everything cleaned off. Everything would be clean, clothes would be dry clean. But for those officers, they feel like they should be out there with the riot gear. They should come out with the riot gear. You're like, why? Like, why? I don't get it. Because for them, any type of protest, any type of disagreement makes you the enemy of them. You see, they don't really believe in a free society. I had learned that. Like, people in the South talking about freedom, I don't get it. There's no freedom in the South. You're free to have somebody tell you who you can marry and who you can love. You're free to somebody tell you who you can worship. Yeah, there's a lot of freedom in the South. I've talked about with trucking how you've got some of the most aggressive law enforcement in the country in the South, in Georgia, in Florida, North Carolina, Virginia. Shit. That's some of the most aggressive law enforcement that there is. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their bread. Yeah, you don't see it up here, them doing that. So as I said, I understand that there's a resentment, there's a frustration that they're losing, that because it's not just about the issues with them. Like, we look at like marijuana legalization and stuff like that. We're like, why isn't it done already? And I've talked to you about how when you look at the world, you realize how far back regressed America really is. America's not led the pack on anything in a very long time. It doesn't even want to. We just got a lot of subsidies for the rich. We got corporate welfare. We got all kind of ways for them to cheat taxes and stuff. But as far as America leading the way on anything socially, America's been behind for a very long time. Thanks for listening.